I'm going to give you a little bit extra. I'm going to give you a little bit extra, not just all planning stuff. When I'm doing service events, it's a little bit different than when I do service calls. If I'm going to do service calls, I do a little bit of research on, like, if I'm going to do just Fresno, just Clovis, just whatever. I really narrow down the searches when I get leads at those shows, and I check to see where they are. So I would make a map on going out farthest and try to work my way home if I could. Just an advanced tip for you guys, and that works just about anywhere. Another thing that I do is I check the radius of, if people live far, I might try to bump them to when I'm going to be towards or close another event, just in case. That's what's so nice that Denise lets us pick out so far in advance instead of just 1 month. It's like for a few months, so you have extra room to schedule them and move them around. Before I get on the phone and before I do things, I do all this research. Another thing that I do is I make sure that I have multiple things to ways of getting a hold of them. Emails and cell phones are the key, so you can talk to them in different ways. Also, so you can promote events. Also, I know Denise does this with me too. I look to see if there's on the website for the event that I'm working for discounted tickets or free tickets, and I try to get some of those. And then that's a great thing to put in your email or text is free tickets, free tickets. And you can just tell them, like, respond with I'm in or free tickets or some code. And that's an engagement. This is a good way to train your people. So it makes it easier to make your schedule. So a lot of it with the planning, it's a lot of systems that I do things. So it may not seem like this is just isolated about planning. So I hope you guys appreciate that. I'm trying to give you more than just a little bit, than the average of, like, get your schedule, figure out what you're going to do this and that, and the little things. I'm going to assume you know when to do your laundry, you know how to food prep, you know how to shop, and all those little things. Those should be life things that you know how to do. So these are some more advanced work things. Another thing is I figure out when I'm going to do my sales. So I only have a couple times a year that I run big sales. So this month right now, what you guys should all be doing and promoting is you should be prepping for an email that lets them know after you do all your picks and stuff. You should let them know where you're going to be for, I would do probably the next month and a half, where they can find you at any events, any service events, or days that you're going to do service. Send that email out first. Then when your first event's going to come up, schedule a text for that couple days in advance. I find that people respond to texts quicker or voice drops more than they do emails, because I was always taught emails isn't I'll get to you when I can. Text, I need to see you. Phone call is, I need to talk to you now. Everybody's different. That's why we do them all. So when you're doing that, one thing you need to be talking about is that prices go up. Technically, it's February 3rd. After we discussed this earlier, that they're going to be closed down for the weekend. No lie, I would just be telling everybody right now, prices go up January 30th. Make that part of your email, make that part of your verbiage everywhere. Plan to let them know that. It creates urgency. Here's a little advanced nugget for you. What I would be telling everybody that I talk to in a booth, and that I'm going to be this whole weekend coming up, is here's the good thing. Not only are you getting old prices and you're getting discount prices on there, but you're also beating the price increase, which is usually somewhere between 3 to 6%. So it's like a double discount. And then just go into what you're doing. Little pause, because I know I talk fast sometimes. So this whole rest of the month, your sale, you don't have to tell them that you're running a sale. It's just beat the price increase. Then after the price goes up from there, you figure out what you want to do when. My good verbiage for planning on things like that is just saying, here at the show, you get a better price, which is the truth. And you kind of go from there. If somebody, the other thing that you need to be figuring out with all this madness is you need to be figuring out your phone time. I've always learned that I think I would say Tuesdays and Thursday evenings are great. Sunday, if you're working an event on Sunday, then I pivot and I add Saturday morning, 8 to 10 is great. And then also I would sneak in maybe afternoon on Wednesday. If you're doing home appointments and you're doing service events, you want to see people at different times. So you have to be able to call and check in with people at different times in order to fill your schedule. I do window scheduling. So when I do my sharpenings and things like that in home, I tell them I'll be there between this time and this time. It gives you a little wiggle room. And honestly, if you're going to work that day, you should be ready an hour before work and plan to work a little bit late in case things go over. So that's just some other things that I do. With looking at my schedule, I look at major holidays and know when they're going to be around. So like, for instance, this is just what I've experienced in my life. There's never any shows on Mother's Day weekend, but everybody does something for Mother's Day. So it's going to be a harder weekend to work. So I'll try to schedule the week before, like Monday through Wednesday, heavy that week, so I don't lose a whole week. Little things like that. People travel for 4th of July. Know when graduations are coming. Graduations, and it's really hard to get a hold of people, and people go on vacation in June. So start learning and paying attention. And as you're making your schedule, take really good notes on everything. You know, how did I do this month? Did I do a lot of appointments? When did I do them? This and that. All this is going to be planning for next year. So once, as you go through each week, what went well for you, what was good, what was bad, take notes on there. So, you know, it makes it easier to plan for your next January. So it knows, and it makes it easier to plan for your next February. You have to be good at all of these things. And it's all the little background stuff that makes it so much simpler in planning and going through all your schedule. If you're planning a long vacation, you should be able to communicate that with your people. Let everybody know through an email or a text. Hey, you know, that should be, your sale should be before you go to take off. If you want to do it like that. If you're going to go take a vacation for a week or two during the summer, then you should run a sale before that. Some people do a spring, summer, and fall sale. It's up to you guys what you want to do. For me, I do a couple. My big one, and I'll share this with you. I know Denise does the same thing. It's been great for years. I do a Black Friday month. That starts in October, usually around Halloween, goes till Black Friday. And each week, different things are on sale. And then the end weekend, whatever was on sale, it's your last touch weekend. I always map out downtime for that. If you're going to run a sale, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to respond to emails and text messages and phone calls. So you have to plan that out. Don't run a sale if you're going to work an event that weekend, because then you're going to miss people. You want to have them come see you at the show, but you don't necessarily want to run a sale during that time. So there's a lot going on here with these things. Okay. And then I always scatter out my touches. I usually do emails first and then follow up with the text. And then depending on how large or how long the event is, I'll do multiple touches during that. Sometimes, like State Fair, they're going to get a postcard they're going to get an email prior to it. It's a like, hey, you know what? It starts this weekend, blah, blah, blah. Then in the middle of it is when I drop my postcard. And then in between each of those weeks, I have multiple text messages that go out, just reminding them. So like for just this month in January, tomorrow is going to be my newsletter that goes out. hey, here's what happened to me last year. And then the bottom part is where you can find me for the next 6 weeks. Like I said, all wrapping it up together. And then what I do from there is I send out a text for the show coming up. I'll be at Sportsman, and then I let them know what's going on with my service events. Then I'll be on the phone. I'll be on the phone for my 2 days off before I do my service events to fill them up along with text messages, and then another text for landscape. So there's a lot to it. If you guys don't have a database yet, you need to get a database so that you can do this. If not, you're going to spend a lot of time on the phone. So you should fall in love with the phone because that's going to save it. So you have to make time to do all these things. As far as other things, like I said, I could sit here and talk about like go shopping when you're off, have a day off this, have a day off that. Make sure, I'll break it down a little bit deeper. Make sure on work days that are heavy days, long days, make sure you make time for yourself in the morning and in the evening to take some reflection of what's good, what's going on, why you're doing what you're doing. So I wake up early before my shift. If I got to be there at 10, I'm up by 8 o'clock, get my coffee in, probably watch maybe 20 minutes of TV, just kind of relax and have a little, like a bagel or something. Then I'm going to go ahead, go through my stuff, make sure I have everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to listen to some audios. Whatever I think I need to work on based upon, the day before, the last show or whatever, I'm listening to some audio of that. And that's what I'm going to make sure that that's my main focus to not suck at for the day. Whatever's been good, I review that and I get there early and set up. I hate to be late. So I plan for whatever, so I can make sure that I'm on time and I'm ready. At the end of the day, I read my notes. What went well? Did I struggle with any specific objections? And then I look up stuff so that I know what to look for or what to listen to for the next day. Audios, this, that. I'm part of like 20 different group meetings, and then everything else is on Vector Connect. And then I always wake up in the morning, check Vector Connect, see if I got any problem orders. So make sure that you're planning and taking time to be able to check your orders, make sure you have leather, make sure you have pennies, stop by the bank, make sure, all these little things. My clothes will be ready for the week, all this little stuff. It adds up. It's a lot of things that people don't think about, but it's not going to take time for you. What I'd like to do now is just go ahead and I really, please, guys, have a bunch of questions for me right now, because if you don't ask questions, you don't really learn. So I'm going to stop there for right now. And I'd rather you guys ask more questions so I can be more specific to help each of you individually more than just as a group.
So how about them Raiders?
You don't want to go there because then you're going to get hurt. So let's stick to work and let's move forward.
I'm just mess with you. What can you say that you've done last year in terms of planning, either something new or something that you doubled down that's helped you, get the year that you get?
So one thing I did last year, I cleaned up my database. And then now this year, I have a main focus of bringing on and training an assistant to take a lot of the little tedious things away from me, database entry stuff, notes, and then having somebody actually make calls to fill my schedule.
So I know you talked about investing in a CRM, and I've been looking at it. What would you say is a good, for somebody just starting out with not that many customers, how many emails like per month should you be sending out to your customers overall?
I don't ever send more than one in a month because there's no need to with the other touches. But like if you don't have a lot of clients right now, I would stick to text messages and phone calls. It's way more personal and you can kind of dig in a little bit more and kind of go from there. Like, how many clients do you have?
About 100.
About 100? Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm going to send, I would still send an email. I like emails. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Understand this. A huge part of planning is how do you want to go about this? Do I just want to chase orders or do I want to create business? And what I mean by that is if you're playing this for the long game, then you need to start training your clients now. So yes, send an email, send a text. I'll give you a little advanced thing right here. When somebody comes and buys from me at an event, after I'm done with the order and they're getting ready to leave, my walk away conversation is probably 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm going to get it all done right here, right now. I'm letting them know what you get from working with Danny, Knife Boss Danny. So we're clear. I brand myself exceptional. Knife Boss Danny, I give them a trifold. If I give them an order form, I put a receipt in there. I walk them through what's on it. I make sure I send in my digital card. I have them save it immediately so that all of my marketing doesn't get bounced off and doesn't go to spam. They get it. They can't ever say, oh, I don't know how to get a hold of them. I've been trying to. No, if anybody says they're trying to get a hold of Knife Boss Danny and they can't, they're lying. They're lying. Because the first thing all you got to do is say, well, do you have his number saved in your phone? And if they don't, they didn't save it. Because it has my line, my text line, my email address, my Facebook, has everything. So there's no way they can't get a hold of me. And it's just a better form of doing that. So what I would focus on right now, instead of worrying about like, how many emails should I send monthly? You don't need to send a lot. And if you are, you have to make sure that you do this as well, guys. Plan for touches that have nothing to do with sales. If you want to build a good, healthy relationship with your clients, some of the touches have to be just happy anniversary, happy Mother's Day, Merry Christmas, things like that you should know that are important. I'm a heavy note taker, so I know a lot about my clients. They know things about me, but I know more about them. And I hope that makes sense to you. So make things quality. I would do so what I do, what I'm going to be doing this year, that's going to be a big needle mover for me, is a lot more things on social media. First week's going to be like, hey, here's my schedule. Second week is going to be knife of the month. Third week's going to be drawing. And then I haven't figured out the fourth yet, but tomorrow's going to be the rest of my planning. But basically that's what I'm going to be doing. So you can put that in like an email and let them know, hey, I'll be here. Here's what's that. Here's what's going on. Communicate with them. Let them know. What you have to do is you have to humanize yourself so that they know that you have a life outside of Cutco, but they want to be engaged. So engage them with you. They'll buy Cutco because it's amazing, but they'll buy more because they like you and they appreciate you. Next question.
Could you go more into detail about like window scheduling, like how open the windows are, and if you like double book in a way?
Great question. So I used to be like, I'll be at your house at noon. I'll be at 2. I'll be at 4. I'll be at 6. I'll be at 8. Let me tell you something. House appointments, something's going to happen. There's going to be an accident, flat tire, sick kid. I forgot. I need to reschedule. I left them with my husband, and he's going to be like, yeah, they're right there. I don't know shit about nothing. So you'll have to call my wife. So just do what you're going to do. And then let me know when you're done. So that 2 hours that I had scheduled, guess what? All of a sudden I get a no-show on one of those. I'm 3 hours ahead of schedule. So let me ask you this. Have you ever, I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I don't know if you're a homeowner or not, but have you ever got a call from AT&T to you or your parents, and they need to come, or in Xfinity, and they need to come work on the internet, and they tell you, we'll send somebody out and they'll be there between 12 and 4?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's awful. So they give you this like 4-hour window. So here's the cool thing. Just to cover yourself, I don't like to do more than 30-minute windows. If you want, you can do a 45 to an hour. I think it's weird to do that. But if you tell somebody, hey, you know what? Who am I speaking with right now? Who asked the question?
Isaac.
Isaac. Hey, Isaac, it's Danny with Cutco. we have an appointment, or I'm setting up an appointment. I would just say, what's better for you, noon or 2 o'clock? Just tell me whatever you're going to tell me.
12.
12. Okay. Just to make sure, because I don't want you to be upset if I'm a little bit late or if I'm a little bit early. I do have appointments all day. I'll be there sometime between say 11:45 and about 12:15. Is that
Cool.
okay for you with you?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So can you just do me a favor, Isaac? Can you go ahead and write this down? It's Danny, Danny. My telephone number is 209-585-7017. And then I'll be by on Thursday between 11:45 and 12:15. And just in case if something comes up, I'd really appreciate it. Could you give me like a 24 to 48 hour notice if for some reason, something comes up and you can't make it, so that I can give that appointment time to somebody else? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, thanks. And as a matter of fact, you know what? What's your is this your cell phone number that we're talking on?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you my digital card right now and just save my number and all my information in your phone. Hold on real quick. Or, oh no, I gave it to you the other day at the show, right? Yeah. Can you look that back up? It's under Night Boss. Yeah. And then just go ahead and save that. Just go to create new contact, hit done. If you have an Apple phone, if not, it's a little bit different. Just let me know when you have that done. Okay.
Done.
Great. Okay, perfect. I'll send you a reminder and then we'll be good to go. If not, I'll see you at that time. Thank you so much.
Bye.
That's it. That's it. If you want to give yourself a 45-minute, what I would do when I'm setting my appointments, what I do, like I said, I do the search to see where, like, how far apart this person is. I'll look it up when I'm on the phone. Well, you know what? My first one's in Modesto, Denise. So you're in Riverbank, right, Denise? Are you on the Modesto side or are you on the far side? Oh, you're on the Oakdale side?
Yep.
Give me a quick second. You know what? It's kind of a little bit of a drive. If it's okay with you, can we go ahead
The
and
whole
give me
5 minutes.
Yeah, can you just in case, can we give me a little extra time? So instead of being there right at 2, I'll be either right before 2 or the latest I'd be there by 2:30. Is that okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Window scheduling is awesome. It's great because you're never too early and you're never late. The other thing is it makes them be home before 2. Because what would suck is if you were trying to stick to your schedule in that way, and then all of a sudden somebody's late on you or whatever. You want to give yourself ample time because you're going to have short appointments and you're also going to have long ones. You're going to have long ones where you sell a ton and you're getting a crap load of referrals. So you want to be able to have that extra time. And if I know that, like, say that I set Denise for 2 to 2:30, and I know that I'm walking out of the appointment where I'm at 2:15, which means I might be there at about 2:45, I just send a quick text before I leave and I just say, on my way. On my way. I'm always on my way, 5 minutes away or right around the corner. And that gets me anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. Next question.
Do you do anything more when it comes to like firming up the time? Like, hey, I have a full day schedule and I want to make sure this time actually works for you so that I don't end up coming to your home and you're not there, or trying not to have like the husband there when you need her to be there more than anything else, something like that.
Okay, so good question. Who am I speaking with?
Martin.
Martin? Okay, 2 things. Please, every single person on this call right now, I don't even know who's on this call, but every person that's on this call, I need you to do me a solid and change your whole life right now. Write this down, okay? You want to make sure that you don't give them outs. I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever give anybody an out about anything, 1,000,000% they're going to take it. So I would never ask them like, oh, is there, are you sure that this works for you? They're going to say, oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, blah, blah, blah. So I handle the objection before it occurs. And what I mean by that is you always ask this when you're setting it up. I have openings for A and B. Never give more than 2 options. Which would be best for you? And then the time. You always, it's simple. This is, you're going to do everything the same. This is a little bit off of planning, but hey, I like it. So thanks, D. You can get with this or you can get with that. And if you've never heard that song, you need to play it so it's always in your head. So for me, it's just A or B, A or B, A or B. We're always getting to a crossroad, but it's so that we can get to where we need to go. And the great thing about it is you're not forcing them, tricking them, or ready for this word, you're not convincing them of anything. They're in charge. You just ask the question, they give you the answer. And you can do the same thing throughout the appointment with everything else. And that's it. And locking it down. And here's the thing, by you giving them the information and giving them the okay to cancel, that's some advanced shit right there, because everybody else is going to tell you, don't do that. Just set the time and then just show up. Look, I don't want to waste my time. So you're telling them to be respectful of my time. Something comes up, I want a 24, 48. You know that doctors charge for that, right? Like dentists and doctors, if you miss your appointment, it's like a $25 fee. And if you don't cancel within X amount of time, you still pay. I don't know if you, maybe because you guys are young, you don't know that, but yeah, that's a thing. So you want to do everything as professional as you can. Does that make sense to you guys? Next question. Jonathan, you better give me something good, bro. He's trying to hide over there.
What about Diego? He hasn't asked a question.
Diego should be crushing everybody. His dad's an OG, triple OG. What's going on over there? Give me something, guys. I got about 10 more minutes and then I got to get on my next call. So you guys are good. Let me ask you this by show of hands. Who's got their January schedule mapped out except for shows?
Danny, I actually got a question for you real quick.
Yeah, I'm ready for you.
So as someone who has just been focusing on, doing demos for the last summer,
Okay.
how would you go about growing your customer base? I'm also out of state, so I can't do events. How would you go about growing your customer base?
Wow, good question. Do you do virtuals?
Yeah.
Then you just ask for referrals. Look, I'm going to be straight with you guys, and I hope Denise doesn't get mad at me for doing this. I haven't asked for referrals in 10 years. I asked for buyers. I don't got time to be messing around. I got mouths to feed. I got trips to take. I got Raider games to go to. I need money. So what I do, very simple, stick to the referral approach, but here's the money line. The thing at the end is I just straight up say, hey, Braden, can I just ask you a quick question? If you had my job out of your friends and family, who would you talk to about Cutco first and why? And if you give me 3, I'm going to give you something for free. If you give me some more, I'm going to give you something worth some more. And that's it. And I tell them the truth. I tell all my people, even the people that buy from me at the booth. Like I said, my push away is long. Jonathan worked a booth with me and JC during Christmas time, and he's seen my engagements with my people are fast getting orders, but when they go to leave and stuff, like I spend good quality time. Shoot, I take pictures, I give them hugs, like they get a lot of literature to go away. But the main thing is I just tell them too, don't forget I have a rewards program. And this is something that I would do if I was you to grow my business. I would offer a rewards program of some sorts and tell them, look, I spend about 20% of my income, my earned income back on marketing. So what I do for my clients is I go ahead and I pay you 10% to bring me buyers. So for every $1,000, Denise, that you send me worth of business, I'm going to give you $100 worth of Cutco, which is great because I use this as one last attempt to do an upsell. So was there anything you're not getting today that you would want? And the only reason why I'm asking is so I know what to give you for free. I get a piece of paper, start jotting it down. I can do the upsell there. That's another thing. Denise can teach you that later. We're supposed to be talking about planning. However, I leverage that to get the qualified people that I want. So if I need to, if you're out of state or wherever you're at right now, what I would be doing, do you know anybody that lives A, B, or C? Do you know anybody that owns Cutco? Do you know anybody that's ever shown interest in your Cutco? If you're doing service events, this and that, honestly. And then the other thing right now, who cares? Started early. I'd be asking for people, do you know anybody that owns a business? Do you know anybody that barbecues a lot? Do you know anybody that likes American made product? I could sit here and ask questions all day long. How I make this list is what you want to do. But what you want to do right now is I would narrow it down to 3 to 5 of their most qualified, best people that they think would buy. And you do that just by pre-framing it in the right way. If you had my job, who would you call first and why? The key is why. They're going to tell you Denise owns her own business. John has 15 kids, so he loves to cook, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. So you already have all the reasons. The last thing is you just set them on the spot. Have them call them and let them know. Have a text ready that they can send and say, hey, I met Denise from Cutco. She's going to give you a call in the next days. Or jump on the phone right then if you can. Next question.
Can you repeat that line? Sorry, if you had my job.
If you had my job, who would you call first and why? My job being I sell Cutco. And see, I don't say I show Cutco. I don't. I sell it. You guys may still be showing it at times. I don't. I never turned in base pay. Never. You don't make you're doing you're taking a pay cut if you do that. Go after the commission. It's good money. So if you had my job and why? If you had my job, who would you show first and why? And if they're talking, let them talk. Just pay attention. They'll tell you everything that you need. And then it is part to reflect on everything that we just discussed right now. When you start getting leads everywhere, start picking a day. I'm going to go in this area. That should be part of your planning. I'm going to service Modesto this day. I'm going to service Sacramento this day. I'm going to do virtuals this day. Set aside the time to do those things around your shows. If you want to be great at this job, your number one goal should be to produce as much CPO outside of the booth than inside. Got time for 2 more questions, then I got to go, guys.
Do you ever direct schedule or how often?
Oh, all the time. Because I know my schedule so far out.
Mm-hmm.
I love direct scheduling. It's my favorite thing. And I just covered it with you. Great. What's better for you? This or that? This time or this time? Great. Oh, and then to get into a little bit more detail, going back to, make sure that the wife and the husband are there. I ask it right away. When I ask it specifically like that. When is the best time that I can sit down with both of you? How you handle objections isn't when they occur. You pre-frame everything and you're proactive about them so you don't hear them. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I just say is, hey, when would be the best time, Denise, for me to sit down with you and your partner? Monday or Wednesday? 3 or 5 on that day. And let me tell you something. When you're talking to people, guys, please do me a favor. Look at them. Don't be asking the question and then look down. Ask the question, look at them, receive the information, then write it down. Because what you're looking for is you need to read their facial expression and their body language. And then if they're like, Wednesday, great. We're not doing Wednesday. He just made the face. Cool. We're going to move on. Best is a great word. Best time, best day. Best day, best time. Both. There's your key phrases. Then you lock them in. Last question. Make it a good one.
I don't know if this is a great one, but how long is your demo? And do you pitch pieces or do you pitch sets? Like, do you go through all the pieces in the homemaker, or is it just like, oh, here's the homemaker, here are some key pieces, and then you move on?
I pitch kitchens, but I do it differently than what you do. By the time you're done going through names and uses in a homemaker, I did that for a kitchen. Because I talk about packages, bundles, things like that. It also depends on where I'm at. It's a little bit different during mall season than it is any other time, only because a lot of people are shopping for little things during Christmas time. I don't display knives. I haven't displayed them for about 8 years. So all you're seeing is sets. So when they come up and they ask me, hey, do you have any specials? Yes, I do. And then I go into that. My pitch is different than most people's, very conversational. You would think any person that walked up to me was my past client already, and they owned Cutco, even if it was a non-Cutco owner. So don't worry about the clock. Worry about not repeating names and uses too often. Great feelers as you're going through anything is just ask questions. Have you ever? Do you ever? You understand? Do you ever cut a tomato? Great. This is our tomato knife. And then after I show them 1 or 2 pieces, it turns into this is your. Again, planning is everything. Be intentional with your verbiage. Be intentional with your questions. Be intentional with your pitch. Be intentional with your layout. This is all planning stuff. It's elements of our business. It's element of our job, but you still plan every single thing that you're going to do. Make it to when you set up that you're almost doing the same thing in the house that you're doing at the booth. Yeah, there's going to be some variables because when you're in somebody's house, nobody's going to disturb you, but the dog does. The phone might ring, the doorbell might, little things like that. But does that make sense to you? Am I answering your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So just be intentional with what you do. Here's a super advanced tip, and then I'm going to go. Is anything that you struggle with in the house or at the booth, anytime you ask for the order and somebody hits you with an objection and you don't close the deal, immediately grab your phone, put that in your notes app, and then turn around and ask somebody higher up on Key Events or Denise or somebody else, or look on Vector Connect for some audio on how to handle that specific objection. And the next appointment you do, the next person you pitch, the next shift you work, that's what you work on. And if you just did that every single time, you're going to go from here to here just like that. Anything else? We good, D?
Yes, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you being here. I hope everyone got a lot out of it, and have a good night.
All good. Ball out. See you guys.